You Can't Be Serious, Episode 2, Through the Rainbow by Spring Horton, with additional content by Madeline Woenick, starring Francine Melcher as Lou, Ellie King as Zoe, and Spring Horton as Quentin. Good evening and welcome to the LGBT
Q
A.
P.
411.
Hey guys, shouldn't we explain all these different orientations to our listener?
You mean to our listeners?
No, the statistics of the last show suggest that listener is the right term to use.
Zoe has a point. I know I didn't know all these terms not so long ago, so we shouldn't assume our listeners do.
Okay, we'll give them a tour. The LGBTQAP presents a guided tour through the rainbow.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, to our tour through the rainbow. My name is Quentin, and I will be your guide. Please fasten your seatbelts. We will take off in a minute. Here we are at our first stop on the tour, the L of lesbian.
Lesbian is simple. It is chicks liking and loving other chicks. Let's get a few myths out of the way, guys. Being lesbian is for life, and not until the right guy comes along. No, not even you, dear. Asking if you can watch is just as offensive as asking a heterosexual couple that. We are also not half man. Suggesting that is also offensive. Right, I think we are down with the basics now, so let's move on.
Breaking news from the scientific front. A new gene was discovered in human DNA that links being LGBT to more than mere sexuality. It also proves that we are just genetically hot-wired to be more fabulous. Now, back to our tour. Do we all have something to drink? Good. Welcome to our second stop, the G of gay.
If you never heard the word gay before, please get out from under the stone and turn on the TV. Gays are men liking and loving other men. There are quite a few myths about this group of fantastic people we need to break. They don't all love to shop or do other girl things. A gay man does not hit everything that moves. You are all safe, guys. All clear? Okay, on we go.
And that brings us to headline news. As we say, we bring you the headlines because, let's face it, who has time for the whole story? Quentin.
Once again, in American politics, a presidential candidate has stuck his foot in his mouth.
Like that's anything new.
Apparently, Rick Santorum believes that bowling balls should know which gender they are.
Dear God.
I think you meant that he believes certain genders should only use certain bowling balls.
Huh?
Exactly what we thought, Lou.
So to all our listeners, be sure to protect your sons from the dangers of pink bowling balls.
Alrighty then, let's get back to the tour.
A request from the captain, please just use the onboard toilet for what it is intended. You know what I mean. Okay, it took a while, but we have come to the third stop, the B of bisexual.
I have to say that we bisexuals have a great deal. We get more choice as we are attracted to men and women alike. That doesn't mean we can't be picky. I have more people to possibly fall for than most, and I'm somehow still single. Bi isn't the same as not knowing who to like. That comes later in this trip.
It seems we have more breaking news coming in. Researchers at the University of Massachusetts in America have found yet more evidence of homosexuality in the animal kingdom.
Apparently, the evidence from human animals is not enough to convince anyone that it exists.
They found that male dolphins in Australia engaged in homosexuality.
So Australian dolphins are gay?
Haven't people been saying that for years?
Well, apparently they're bisexual as well.
Wow, I think I'm just gonna head to the outback then.
Dolphins don't live in the outback, darling.
Moving on. We are halfway through the rainbow. Color surrounds us as we come to the T of transsexual and transgenic. I suppose we are a bit of an odd duck in the rainbow, because all of the others are about who you love and how that defines you. Trans is just about who you are. Transsexual means you feel that you were born with the wrong sex or gender.
Also known as genderqueer.
Yes. Someone who is transgenic feels that they don't belong to either gender but are more in the middle.
Also known as gender fluid.
Yes. Thank you, Zoe.
You're welcome.
And that brings us to our first commercial break.
Tired of all that fat? Now we have the solution. The Fat Suck 3000. Don't hesitate to pick up that phone and put it down again, pick it up and put it down again, pick it up and put it down again. And now run to the store to get that fit now with the Fat Suck 3000. The moment you walk out of the store with that Fat Suck, you will feel lighter already.
Fraud.
They were the only ones willing to pay anything.
So, what are people listening to now?
I have no idea.
So, Lou, I've been meaning to ask you, is your name short for anything?
Uh-huh.
Well, what is it short for? Louise, maybe?
No.
How about Luella?
Actually, it's short for Lawanda, okay?
Wow, what were your parents thinking? Sorry. I'll shut up now.
Thank you, Quentin. At least it's my real name.
Lou?
Excuse me?
You heard me.
You old bitch!
Old? Who are you calling old?
Come on, you guys. We're almost on.
Ow!
Ah! Ow, stop pulling my hair.
Welcome back, everyone. We'd like to take you back on the tour now.
Right. Settle down now, please. Dinner will be served soon. May I have your attention for cue of questioning or queer?
You hear a lot of "I've always known" if you ask when people found out their sexuality, but not everyone knows what they like at 5. I know I didn't, and there is nothing wrong with that. Queer means everything that is not heterosexual, a good general term for those who are unsure.
And now, unfortunately, back to politics.
Oh.
On our last broadcast, we directed your attention to Russia.
Oh God, not again.
I'm afraid so, Quentin. It seems as if the whole country is involved this time, at the risk of sounding like we are bullying one country.
Of course, now they'll know what it feels like.
We have yet another law being proposed that would hurt the LGBT community there.
What is it this time?
The new bill would impose a fine on anyone, quote, spreading homosexual propaganda amongst minors.
Propaganda?
Yes, that is the exact quote. The fine would be about $16,500 US.
What is this propaganda supposed to be?
Probably telling kids that who they are is okay.
No doubt.
That, and some believe that it is actually a cover for banning public demonstrations by the LGBT groups. But look on the bright side. At least the fine is only half that of the penalty for promoting pedophilia.
What?
And for that, I believe we deserve another commercial break. Wasn't it, though?
Oh my god, I think Quentin's crying.
I am not crying. I have allergies.
So, we really seem to be getting the hang of radio. Lou, who inspired you? As a writer, I mean.
I'd have to say John Fenimore from Cabin Pressure.
Oh, I love that show. Arthur Shappy is my favorite radio personality.
Quentin, John Fenimore is Arthur.
What do you mean?
John Fenimore plays him. He's a character.
No, Arthur's an airline steward.
It's not real.
Well, of course it's not really happening while you listen. It's a reenactment.
Quentin, Arthur Shappy doesn't exist.
Oh, you guys. Welcome back, everyone. In somewhat lighter news,
Though still politics.
is a new proposal in the British Parliament.
This one. I file it under Signs of the Gaypocalypse. Signs that the gay community is secretly taking over the world. As you may know, marriages in the royal family have been controlled ever since the Royal Marriages Act in the 18th century.
Exactly, Zoe. But now that law has been questioned. What would happen if a member of the royal family could marry just anyone they pleased? MP Peter Boone set off all kinds of bells at 10 Downing Street by warning of the possibility of having 2 queens on the throne, leaving no succession for the future.
Except for all the other family members that could take the throne instead.
A spokesman for the government has let it be known that it's taking the warning seriously. A small group of MPs, Lord, Christ, and their chairman Heaven, have taken on the responsibility of preventing such a thing. Their conversation went something like this.
Silence, darlings. Stop making such a drama and sit down.
Why are we making a problem of this? The first in line is married.
Oh, Christ, divorce isn't exactly alien to the family. We could get into trouble here.
Oh, Lord, do you think he will come out?
I hope and pray not, but if he can get married, all bets are off.
Only heaven knows what we will do then.
Well, I have thought about it for a long time, and once he gets married to that queen, he can't really do anything. Law is law, even for them. We could put in some sort of clause in the law.
Like a closet clause? Might work.
Christ, what do you think?
With a no coming out without an air clause, I could live.
We should expand this to the whole royal family, just so they won't get any ideas.
Christ and I agree. Let us pray. O Dark Lord, lead us to power, and let your darkness stroke us in all the naughty places. Lead us into recession so that all shall bow before you.
Amanda. At least we figure it went something like that. Now, back to our tour. Already on our way back home, we stopped by the A of asexual.
Asexuality is the lack of sexual orientation or attraction, but they do date and sometimes even have sex, mostly out of love for their partner. Having no sexual need does not mean there is something wrong with them. They're just like everyone else in the rainbow, just born this way.
Now for a little arts and entertainment news before we conclude our tour. A new book has come out by a very exciting LGBT author.
Are we talking about Fiona Zed's new book, Nightshade?
That we are, Lou. Fiona has written 6 novels so far, and I think this one is the best one yet.
Uh-huh. Anything about sexy lesbian assassins works for me.
Oh, most definitely. The main character is Bronwyn St. Just.
I love that name.
She lives in California and has a real knack for killing men that need it.
And pleasing women that need it even more.
In other arts and entertainment news, we are pleased to announce that Omar Sharif Jr. is in a very courageous move, has come out that he's gay and half Jewish.
He's the grandson of that great actor Omar Sharif. He's so handsome when he was young. Big brown eyes, great hair.
Yes, Lou, but we were discussing his grandson?
Oh, right.
So, if he's Omar Sharif's grandson, how did he get to be Omar Sharif Jr.?
I have no idea. But anyway, he lives in Egypt, where LGBT people are still a big threat. Fear.
I think we know what you mean.
Yes, apparently all the upheaval last year was going to bring in a more free and equal society. The grandson of the great actor is not so sure.
We applaud him for coming out anyway, though.
and shedding light on these issues.
So here's to you, half-Jewish, gay Egyptian grandson of a great sexy actor guy.
Yeah.
And now for the finale of our tour.
Due to safety issues, we are no longer serving alcohol, and I advise you all a cup of coffee. We have gotten to our last stop of the evening, P for pansexual. Pansexuals are not so much attracted by gender, but by personality. It differs from bisexuality in that pansexuals can also fall for transgenders and care more about who you are than what you are. It's a potential to love everyone. This ends our little tour. We will be arriving back at home in about 3.145926353 minutes.
Well, it appears we've reached the end of our show.
Wait, this just in. I got the interview!
I believe Quentin is referring to a new segment we are calling Pillars of the LGBT Community. Who are we interviewing today?
Just my favorite gay couple.
Oh no.
Mycroft Holmes and Inspector Gregory Lestrade.
Oh my god, Quentin! Those two don't exist either!
No, that's what I thought too. But then I found them on Twitter, so they have to be real.
Good Lord, what have we come to?
I can't believe we stooped so low as to interview fictional characters.
Don't mind them. They're just jealous that these two fine men agreed to talk to me and not them. Due to their busy schedules, the two of them couldn't actually be with us today.
Yeah, no kidding.
But they did agree to fill out the little questionnaire I sent over.
Oh, all right. Maybe we should just go with it. It's an interview.
Fine. Let me see that thing. Quentin, these answers are amazing.
See? I told you. So I asked Mr. Holmes and Mr. Lestrade 10 questions about their lives and relationship, and here are their answers. First, of course, was who they are and what they do. Inspector Lestrade said, "Well, my name's Gregory Lestrade. I'm a DI at Scotland Yard. Pretty self-explanatory, really. I solve crimes for a living."
And Mr. Holmes, I'm Mycroft Holmes, elder brother to the esteemed Sherlock of Baker Street. As my profession, I hold a minor position within the British government.
Next, Quentin asked how these two met. Mycroft answered the question with the very logical mutual acquaintance and involvement with Sherlock.
I like this question. Do you identify with the LGBT community?
Mr. Holmes gave us the amazing answer, "Yes, I admit that I do identify. A person should be able to be who they are despite differences and individuality, and a strong support base like the one this community offers is essential."
Inspector Lestrade seconded that and added, I can relate to some of what people go through. I had a bit of trouble in my youth, and I've got a brother who doesn't accept my life choices.
Oh, and when asked if it was love at first sight, both men were attracted to one another but were uncertain if anything could come of it.
Really? They seem like the perfect couple. What about their first date?
A cozy little French place that Lestrade really loved.
That sounds like Mycroft.
Doesn't it? In fact, he says, dear Lord, what does that say?
Grégoire a été particulièrement étonnante.
Wow, I have no idea what that means, but it sounds wonderful. As for favorite things about each other, they had this to say.
Greg answered, I couldn't possibly sit here and list them all. The way he makes his tea is precious, and he has this habit of crinkling up his nose when he really dislikes something, which I love.
Oh, that's so cute. This is what Mycroft said about Greg. Gregory's compassion, intelligence, and loyalty are points that I am particularly fond of. He is my inspiration and moral compass when I find myself overwhelmed.
These two are making me feel pathetically single and lonely.
They think of themselves as regular old domestic couple, though.
Yeah, right. I've never had a girl talk about me like that.
So, I also asked them about their involvement in the community and if they'd faced any opposition to their relationship.
Oh, cool. It looks like Greg is planning to come out on World Pride Day if he has time, though Mycroft can't make it.
He offers his support, though. Remember all, the last week of June and the first week of July in London.
As for their relationship, they had this to say. Greg, apart from my brother, no one said anything to my face about it, no.
It's always tough when it comes between family. Mycroft answered, fortunately not. Although admittedly I do make a habit of announcing the intimate details of my life. Relationships are personal affairs and should be treated with a degree of respect.
Really well said.
For my final question, I asked if they had any words of advice for our listeners.
Mycroft gave us a great bit of general advice with the 3 great essentials to achieve anything worthwhile are first, hard work, second, stick-to-itiveness, third, common sense.
I think Inspector Lestrade summed up the question very well with, never be anything but who you are.
Hell yeah.
Definitely.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for agreeing to our interview. You're both very inspirational. Remember, darlings, you can follow them on Twitter, at MycroftAHolmes and at GLestradeDI.
All right then, once again, thank you all for listening to the LGBT
Q
A.
P
411. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
You Can't Be Serious Through the Rainbow by Spring Horton, with additional content by Madeline Wonick, starring Francine Melcher as Lou, Ellie King as Zoe, and Spring Horton as Quentin.